All right. Good morning and good afternoon and good evening and good night, wherever you guys are in the world. Please, if you can hear me, please say yes in the chat. And I will ask the question. Can you hear me? Yes, 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 yes. Awesome. Everybody's saying yes, and that is great. All right, so hello everyone. It's very nice to be back again this nice Wednesday. It's nice because it's not raining in Vancouver, which is always a good day when it doesn't rain in Vancouver. Lots of people in the chat today. So awesome to see all of you guys in the chat, which is fantastic. There's so many names, I don't know if I can say all of them, or if I should. All right, so hello Walid and Mukhtar and Ahmed and Rashid and Bisma and Jacqueline is back as usual. Kevin, Leonie, we have Rob today. Afa is back also, Tony, and there's somebody whose name I think is written in Russian. Oh, they say hey from Ukraine, and I cannot read your name because it's written in an alphabet that I don't understand. So sorry about that. He says, I am Yura. Well, nice to meet you, Yura. Thank you for coming to the class. Judith is back as usual. Lamye, I think I'm saying that correctly. We have Nai, we have Hassan. We have a ton of new people this week, which is always cool. I love it when we have new people. Rosa, of course, is here. I don't know if I see Julian. I haven't seen Julian in the chat today. We have Jacobo, we have Omar, we have Aragif, Alex, so many of you here today, which is great. So awesome of you guys to come to the class. Thank you so much. And my name is Karim. So if you guys, if this is your first time here, my name is Karim, and I have been working here at CCEL and Canadian College. I've been working at CCEL for the last 6 years. I've recently started teaching a couple of college courses also. And I've been using Smrt for same time, right? So almost about 6 years now using Smrt. And somebody's saying, oh, he said my name. Well, yes, you're in the chat, and I say people's names in the chat. I appreciate you guys coming, and thank you for that. So let me just very quickly say the things that I have to say, and we'll get them out of the way. So you guys know this. You are already watching me on Smrt English. So don't forget, if you haven't done so already, please click on the subscribe button, and let me just go a little bit smaller so you guys can see what I'm talking about. That might be a good idea. So what do I want to do? I want to go, there we go. I'm tiny. All right, so you guys can see the screen now. Today, somebody's asking a question. There's actually a few of you are asking some questions, but let's just take one for now. It says, is the lesson related to vocabulary, I guess is what you're asking. No, today we're doing grammar. We're going to be talking about how to express necessity, right? Hello, Ahmed. Thank you for coming to the class. Hello. Lots of people are saying hello. There's so many of you today. It's cool. I like that. So you guys are watching me on Smrt English. If you have not done so already, please remember to subscribe and hit the bell button so you guys know when we're going to have new videos out. I've noticed in the chat a lot of you are asking when is the next video out? What time is the video on Friday? What time is this and what time is that? Well, if you subscribe to the channel, you will get notifications that will tell you when a video is about to come, right? So usually it'll tell you a day earlier or maybe an hour before. It depends. I think you guys can set that up. We have Iran. Welcome to the class, Iran. And I'm going to say this name so wrong. Raira. I think that's correct. Hello, Raira, and welcome to the class. And we also have Esmail, or Eshmail, or Ismail, depending on how you say your name. So welcome to the class, you guys. So you can watch all the classes that are going to be coming up here. So you guys can see already Kent has a class that is on the 17th, and I believe that is going to be next or this Friday. So the 17th at 3:30 p.m. and the times are always Vancouver time. So just check what time that is in your country. But if you subscribe, you can always see the channels, right? And you can see what videos are coming up. So please don't forget to do that. Also, if you guys scroll a little bit down, you will see my face. So just click on my face and it will take you to my Smrt English page, right? So Smrt has given also sort of all the teachers their own pages. You guys can check out my page. So on my page, I do things like phrases with Karim, which you guys can check, and also do videos called Vancouver Out and About, right? So phrases with Karim, I just give you sort of phrases or slang words, things like that. It's very short videos, or they are very short videos, usually about a minute, 2 minutes tops. And yeah, it's sort of a nice way for you guys to have like little sort of exercises if you want. A lot of people are asking where I'm from. If you're talking about where I am from originally, I am Egyptian. So I think I get asked this question every single week. Every single week. Where are you from? But yeah, I'm originally from. Julian is in the chat. Welcome, Julian. Yes, and everybody, please listen. Listen to Julian. You guys need to subscribe to my channel because. Our goal, our mission as the tribe of Smart English with Karim is to beat Sean's subscriber number, right? So we want to smash Sean's subscriber number, so don't forget to please subscribe to my channel. So go to my channel, Smart English with Karim. You can find it from the Smart channel. Just click on my face and subscribe to me over there. So yes, thank you, Julian, for reminding everybody, and welcome to the class. We also have a new person, Rashid. Welcome, Rashid. Very nice to have you. JB is back. Welcome, JB, to the class. Very nice to see my usual suspects. Everybody's here. Also, if you guys like food and you like to eat, I have a personal channel on Facebook called Food AF. So if you guys like food, as I said, please go check out this channel. Basically, it's a cooking show that I make, and I try to put an episode out every week. So it's not English related, but I do talk in English, so you can practice listening, right? So you can practice listening and maybe learn some cooking vocabulary on the way. So yeah, so that's it. Please check me out over there, and don't forget, please subscribe to me and show me a little bit of love, you guys. I really, really appreciate it. What is this? Can anybody hear me? I don't know what you're talking about, Moen, I think that's your name. But no, we can't hear you. You guys can only hear me, and hopefully that's not such a bad thing. All right. So yeah, so that's it. Also, of course, on Facebook, same thing. Don't forget to subscribe or go join the Learn English on Facebook with Smrt. That's our group on Facebook. We have a lot of people in there. We have almost 24,000 people in this group, and everybody is awesome, right? So people help each other out. If I am free, if Sean's free, if whoever's free, we also try to help out whenever we can. And of course, you guys can find me also on Facebook, on my channel, or on my page, I guess, Karim Smrt Live. And that's pretty much it. So a lot of you are asking in the chat already, who won the movie quote of the week last week? And I have to say, it was somebody new for a change. So it was not Julian, and it was not Patricia, who are always fighting for who's first to answer the movie quote of the week. But the person who won this week was a new person, which is cool. That means a lot of you are starting now, or more of you are starting to play. And where was it? It was P. Vega. So P. Vega was the winner. And if you guys missed last week, you guys are typing too much. It's very hard for me to. It's very hard to read. Oh, they want the link for the subscription. Just go to the. You'll find Food AF in Smrt. So if you guys, so right here, if you go to, where is it? So Smrt. So if you go to Smrt, on the Smrt channel, if you look to the side, you should be able to find Food AF, or just type Food AF, and it's the first thing that comes up on YouTube. So just food, and then space AF, enter, and boom, we are #1 on the search result because it's a unique name. So yeah, that's it. Just type Food AF, and you will find us very, very easily. So last week's quote, you guys, was this, and this was from the awesome movie. What's it called? The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. So if you guys, thank you, Ahmed. That's very kind of you. Thanks a lot. So The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, which is a Ben Stiller movie, also directed by Ben Stiller, and it's actually a pretty cool movie. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen this movie or you've never heard of it, please go check it out. So good job for P. Vega for winning the movie quote of the week. A virtual high five to you. And stick around till the end of the class today, and I'm going to give you guys a new quote from a very, very funny movie, actually, that I also like very, very much. So stick around, and I'll show you the movie quote of the week for this week. Julian, I'm not falling for that beetle trick again. Well, I didn't fall for it the first time. You tried, but I remember, so it's not going to happen. All right. So that's it. So let's get into today's lesson, you guys. So today, as I said before, we are going to be doing expressing necessity, right? Expressing necessity. So what is necessity? Before we start actually explaining anything, let's make sure we all know what we're going to be talking about. So what is necessity, right? Necessity comes from the word necessary. It's similar or synonyms of the word to need something, right? So today, talking about expressing necessity, basically we're going to be talking about when you want to show, right, how much you need to do something, right? So that's as simple as I can try to explain it to you guys, but that is basically what we are going to be talking about. Yes, and some of you are already in the chat saying, oh, we're going to be talking about have and must and stuff like that. Yes, right? So that's exactly what we are going to be talking about. Yura is saying, sounds very scary. No, Yura, it's not very scary, and that's why we come every week to hang out together, right? So hopefully I make things less scary for you guys, and I hope enjoyable. So don't worry about it, right? We're going to have fun, and it's not going to be difficult. Something we need, yes, just like Rosa is saying in the chat. Something that we need, right? So let us begin. Karim said, we all want you to invite us for your cooking. Well, that's I'm gonna have to be cooking, I think, for a few days if I'm going to feed all of you guys. But you guys are welcome anytime. If you're ever around, give me a shout out. Maybe I'll cook something for you guys, or just watch my channel and you can cook what I cook. And in a way, that's like me cooking, right? So you can watch and try to cook the stuff that I cook. No, I do not speak any German, Universo. Sorry, don't speak German, and I also don't speak French. English and Arabic, and a very, very, very tiny bit, that's not even enough to say, of Japanese. These are the only languages that I know. So sorry, that's it. English, Arabic, and a little bit of Japanese. Okay, so let's carry on, or let's start. We haven't started yet, so let's go. So I'm sure you guys heard of modal verbs before, right? So modal verbs, these are the words usually that we use, again, right, to show how much, right, something needs to happen, or how much does something should happen, right, or have to happen. So for example, let's take a look at this stuff. Hello, Mansoor. Welcome to the class. Thank you for coming. It's very nice to have you. Death dia. Death dia. I think that's, yeah, is that it? Is that your name? Death dia. I hope that I'm saying that correctly. Welcome to the class. It's he or she are saying that this is their first time here. So welcome to the class and thank you for coming. Yeah, I know, Rosa, right? All right, so here we go, guys. Let's get on with the lesson. So so you guys know the modal verbs already: can and could and would and should, will, may, might, must, ought to, and shall, right? So we're going to be looking at a few things today, right? I don't think we're going to cover all of them today, but we're going to be looking at a few things. So modals are auxiliary verbs, or another name for that is we call them helping verbs, right? So auxiliary verbs or helping verbs. that usually have a specific or special meaning, right? That means we use them in a special, not a special, we use them in a specific way, right? To mean something very specific. So remember that they are auxiliary verbs. That means they're not the main verbs in the sentence. Usually they are helping verbs. Modals are different from normal verbs. Why? Because they don't use an S when we talk about he, she, or it, right? So you know how we usually say, for example, he walks, right? We add an S to the verb. So he walks to school every day. Or she reads before she sleeps every day. Something like that, right? We always add an S to the end of our verbs. Modal verbs are different. And they're different because we don't put the S. So we can't say he cans go to the store. That's just wrong, right? So the way that we do it is the modal verb stays just like it is, right? So he can go to the store, right? He can go to the store. I'm not sure what I'm not exactly sure what you mean by your question, Karim. I'm sorry. It's a little vague. So I don't really get exactly what you're saying. Sebastian, hey Sebastian, welcome to the channel. You're saying I have a terrible headache, I'm shivering, I should go to... Oh, okay, Sebastian's already giving us examples before we start explaining anything. We'll get back to those in a little bit. So yes, a lot of you are. You guys are hard workers here. You guys are already giving me a lot of the rules before I even talk about them, which is quite cool. But I need to talk about them so when other people watch the video later, they can see these things. So here we go. One more time, right? Modal verbs are auxiliary verbs. That means they're helping verbs. They're not the main verb in your sentence. They help the main verb in your sentence. A very big difference between modal verbs and other verbs is they don't use an S when we talk about he, she, or it, right? So just like I said in the example, he can go to the store. You cannot say he cans go to the store, right? That's just wrong. To make a question, we change the order of the words. So if you want to make a question using a modal verb, well, we're going to change the order. So she can go becomes can she go, right? Not difficult so far, or scary, Yura, I hope. Another important thing to remember about modal verbs is they are followed directly, and I've seen some of you put this in the comment section. You guys already talked about this rule, so very good on that. Yes, they are followed directly means right after the verb, right? So the modal verbs. So they're followed directly by the base form of another verb. Now, the base form of a verb is just it's just a way for us teachers usually just to say the original verb, right? So not the past tense of the verb, not the past participle, right? Just the normal verb, right? So without changing it. So for example, eat, walk, sleep, jump, read, right? Just the very basic normal form of the verb. Hello, Jundi, and welcome to the class. Thank you for coming. It's good to see you. So that's what we mean by the base form of the verb, right? The base form means just the normal verb, the original form of the verb, without changing anything. The only exception, I should say first that we do not use to, right? So we don't say to eat, to run, to sleep, to jump, right? Without the to. We're going to take the to out and just use the normal original verb. The only exception, that means the only time that we do not follow this rule, that's what the word exception means, right? When something doesn't follow the regular or the normal or the usual rule, is when we use ought to, right? So ought to, you have to say to, right? With ought. The topic is expressing necessity, Jundi. It's expressing necessity. That's what we're talking about today. All right, so the third rule that we talked about is they are followed directly by a base form of the verb. That means the original verb without changing it, and we do not use to. The only exception, that means the only thing that doesn't follow the rule, is ought to. You have to say to after ought. All right, so for example, he must goes. Well, no, that's wrong, right? Remember we said for he, she, and it, Modal verbs don't use an S, right? We don't use an S for modal verbs if we're talking about he, she, or it. So if you say he must goes, you should already or automatically know that that is not correct. He must going. Again, no, because what did we say? We said we have to use the base form of the verb. He must to go. Again, this is also not correct because we said you can't use to, right? We have to take to out unless we are using ought to. So that's why all these three are wrong, because of these three rules that we just talked about. The only correct one is he must go, right? So this follows all the rules that we've been talking about. No S for he, she, it. No to, and it must be the base form of the verb, right? So I hope that that is clear, you guys, and that nobody is confused so far, right? I hope that so far everybody's doing good. Yes, Mansoor, but I don't think we're going to be talking about that today, right? So not today, but it will probably come up at some point in time. Or if you want, you can put the question in the Facebook group, and I'm sure that either me or somebody else is going to answer it for you. Kim, hello to the class and welcome. Thank you for coming to the class, Kim. It's nice to have you guys. All right, and this is Craig Koskimaki, by the way, which is an awesome teacher here at CCEL, who, by the way, also has a YouTube channel where he does singing, right? So Craig actually has a band and he plays music. So you can actually, if you type his name on YouTube, you'll find some songs for him, which are pretty good. They're not bad. I like them. All right, everybody is doing okay. All right, let's carry on. Other expressions. So English has many other expressions used in a similar way to modal verbs, right? That means there are other ways to say what we want to say with a modal verb, right? So instead of using the modal verb, well, there's another way to say it, right? So that's all what we mean basically by this part. So, be able to be able to, be allowed to, be going to, be supposed to, or have got to, or have to, or had better, right? So again, if you really look at these words, a lot of them also they express necessity, right? Can, should, may, right? All those sort of things, right? So that's why we're saying that these are just other ways to express what you want to say using modal verbs. Manage to, yes, Chow, very good. Oh, Chow, hey, I haven't seen Chow in a long time. Thanks for coming to the class. But yes, Chow gave a very good example. Manage to is also another way to express that. So very good. Okay, so let's carry on. So expressing necessity, we can use verbs such as must, have to, or have got to say when something is necessary, right? So it has to happen, right? So something is very, very important to happen. It's necessary or it is vital, right? Another word for that is vital, V-I-T-A-L. So these are the three words or expressions that we use to say that something is necessary. So for example, children must do their homework. Children must do their homework. Children have to do their homework. Children have to do their homework. Or children have got to do their homework. And notice how I said have got to, right? Children have got to do their homework, right? So that's a more natural way of saying have got to do, right? Because most people will not say have got to do, right? Most people will say I've got to, right? I've got to do my homework, for example, right? If I'm talking normally, I would say I've got to do my homework. But that's okay for now, right? That's usually something that you should work on later, right? Just make sure that you have the correct letters first, right? So it's okay in the beginning when we're learning to say it the unnatural way, right? It's okay to say have got to, because you want your brain to get used to the sounds of the letters, right? Later on, naturally, you will see that you can say it the way that most people say it, right? In the living language or in a colloquial way. Very good question. So Mansoor is asking, what is the difference between have to and have got to? And very simply, the answer is nothing. There's no difference between them. Both of them mean the same thing. The only difference is the form, right? So when we write and when we speak, the way that we use have got to is a little bit different than have to, but meaning is the same. There's no difference in the meaning, right? So you can use this one and you can use the other one. They're both the same. Yes, so just like Afa is saying, have got to is the same as have to, right? And that is correct. So let's take a look. Let's look at the differences, right? So you guys were just asking right now what are the differences. So let's take a look at some examples that hopefully are going to show us the difference between them. So positive sentences, negative sentences, and questions, right? So let's go one by one. We're going to look at a must example, a have to example, and a have got to example. So in a positive sentence, you would say something like, he must go to work. He must go to work. He must go to work. Have to, he has to, right? Because he, right? So have becomes has, right? So he has to go to work. Have got to, he has got to go to work. He has got to go, or he has got to go to work. What's the difference in meaning? Nothing. They're all the same, right? So you're basically just saying the same thing, but these are three different ways for you guys to say them, right? So you can interchange. That means you can switch, right? Sometimes you can say it this way. Sometimes you can say it that way, and both of them should be okay. Yeah, Walid is saying sometimes I see gotta without gotta, right? So G-O-T-T-A, which is the slang way of saying I got to, or I also it basically means I have to, right? So for example, I can say I gotta go. It means I have to go. That's it, right? So you don't always have to say have after gotta. Yeah, exactly, right? So just like JB is saying, I've got to go, I've got to eat. John, oh, hey, John, welcome to the class. Thank you for coming so much. Jundi is saying something is wrong here, and I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, he's saying it's frozen. I don't think everything looks fine from my side, JB. Try to refresh, right? So please try to refresh your page. Okay, so carrying on with the negative, let's look at a negative example for these sentences. So he must not work. He must not work. He must not work. He mustn't work, right? So again, that's just a negative way of using must. Just add not, and that's it. He doesn't have to go to work. He doesn't have to go to work, right? He doesn't have to go to work. So again, notice that I'm saying have to go to work, right? He doesn't have to go to work, or he doesn't have to go to work. All right, Jundi says that it's working now, which is good. All right, he hasn't got to go to work. So with have got to, again, very simple. We're just substituting it, right? That means we're taking something out and putting hasn't got to instead, right? So we're taking doesn't have to, for example, and we say he hasn't got to work. Now, if you guys notice here in the negative, right? So he must not work, we did, he doesn't, right? And I'm sure all of you guys noticed that. So he doesn't have to go to work. She doesn't have to go to work. They don't have to go to work, for example, right? I don't know what you mean, Mansoor. How can you say have got to? I don't know what you like. You mean like how do we pronounce it? Have got to. You've or, for example, in a normal sentence, I would say something like, I've got to go to work. I've right. So I would say I've got to, right. And got to, when you say it fast or when you're saying it naturally as you're talking, it becomes like this, right? So it becomes I've got to, right? I've got to. But because I don't pause like that when I talk normally, it sounds like I've got to go to work. I've got to go to work. That's how it sounds like. Yura is asking a question that, yes, we are going to talk about it in a little bit, right? So just wait a minute or two and we will actually say what you are talking about. So he doesn't have to go to work. He hasn't got to work. Now, for the question, obviously we're going to start with the modal verb. So must he work? Does he have to work? Now, this is the difference, right? So have got to in the question, notice that we're starting with has, and then you put the subject right after has, right? So instead of saying, like before here, has got to, has not got to, you have to sort of put the subject in the middle of it, right? So in the negative sentences, usually we put the subject in the middle and it becomes, has he got to work, right? Has he got to work? And that's it, right? So this is a big difference that a lot of people sometimes mix up, right? Or they forget. So in the in the question form, of have got to, you have to put your subject right after your modal verb, and that's it. Karim is saying, why not this? Because it's wrong. It's as simple as that. That's not how we say it, right? So you have to put the subject after your modal verb. All right, let's do one more example. Hopefully it will clear things out. All right, so one more time. So positive, you must do your homework. You must do your homework. Have to, you have to do your homework. Have got to, you have got to do your homework, right? So again, pretty simple to hear, right? The only difference is we're saying you, right? So because of you, right, we say you have, right? Remember, he, she, and it obviously takes the has, and you, we, they, blah, 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 blah. That takes the have, right? So, yeah, JB is right, Judith. The contracted form is just the informal way of saying it. Arzang, hello and welcome to the class. Thank you for coming. Okay, now if you guys noticed, oh, what happened? Something happened. I think I was offline for a second. I don't know why. My streaming program suddenly said reconnecting, and okay, everybody says I'm back. Great. I thought I might have to do some technical technical stuff because Julian is not here today, but that's okay. I can handle it without Julian. All right, so remember, questions with must are very, very uncommon. You will not really hear a lot of people say or ask a question starting with must, right? It's much more common for the questions to be with have to or have got to, right? Must is not really that common if you want to sound natural. So the second example in the negative, right? Remember, we're just, instead of using the he, she, and it now, we are talking about the other forms, right? So you. So you mustn't, you must not, right? You mustn't do your homework. That is not very good advice. that is definitely not very good advice, but it's just an example, right? So please don't listen to that. You must do your homework. All right, negative with have to. You don't have to do your homework. You don't have to do your homework. Have got to becomes you haven't got to do your homework. You haven't got to do your homework. Question, again, must you do your homework? And remember, like we said before, questions with must, not very common, right? You can. There's nobody's going to say, hey, why did you say that? But but they're just not common, right? So it's more common to use have to or have got to. All right, so question form for have to. Do you have to do your homework? Do you have to do your homework? And have got to is exactly the same with he, she, and it. You have to put your subject after your auxiliary verb, or after the modal verb in this in this example. Elias is asking what's the difference between ought to and must to. Well, we don't say must to, right? Remember, ought to is the only modal verb that we say to after. So nobody will ever say must to, right? It must, and then the base form of your verb comes after that. So must eat, must sleep, must drink, must watch Karim's stream, must subscribe to Food AF. Things like that, right? The other main difference is must expresses that something needs to happen. It's necessary to happen, and ought to is similar to should, right? It's like you're giving advice or you're suggesting to somebody to do something. So yeah, so I hope that's clear. They're usually they're not even close, right? So must is a very high need to do something. Ought to is like a bit less, right? It's not the same. All right, so that's pretty much it. So please just notice the differences when we use he, she, and it, right? He, she, and it takes the has, you, we, they, blah blah blah. That takes the have. The other thing that you should remember is questions with must are just not common, right? It's not wrong to do them or to ask questions that way, but it's not common. And JB says yes. Alanis Morissette definitely says you ought to know, and that is a cool song. Actually, I haven't heard that song in a long time. I think I might go home today and listen to that. So thanks JB for reminding me. That's a good, I really like that song. Omar is saying we must subscribe to his channel. Yes, that's how you use must. You must subscribe to my channel. You must subscribe. Must subscribe to my to my channel. All right. Let's carry on. So I've talked about this a little bit as I was explaining today. In spoken English, have to is often pronounced I have to, right? So some people will say the T, like instead of the have the, some people will say have to, right? So you might hear it as a T sometimes, but yes, it's very common to sort of just mash the have and the to together and just say, like for example, when I go home today, I have to do a lot of editing for tomorrow's food video. When I go home today, I have to do a lot of right? So I have to do a lot of editing for tomorrow's video. Karim is saying I asked the question many times, but I did not see. Yes, I did not see it, Karim. I'm so sorry. There are so many of you in the chat today. It's not easy for me to see. Or not easy, it's impossible to see everything that you guys are typing. So I'm sorry. Okay, I think I found it. Let's see, where is it? I was able to lock the door equals I managed to lock the door. Both have the same meaning. Yes, if that's your question, Karam, that is what, they both basically mean the same thing. Very good. Connect Arabic, hello and welcome to the channel. Thank you guys for popping in. So popping in, right? Popping in means just thanks for coming in, right? Coming to visit. Thanks for showing up. Managed, I have to take a nap. I have to take a nap. Yep, that's okay. Noor, hello Noor, welcome to the class. Thank you for coming so much. Lots of new people today. I am so excited to see all you new guys. It's nice. It's nice. I have my old crew, the usual suspects. and I keep getting new people every week, which is very, very cool. I like that. It makes this fun. So like I said, right, so I have to do this, right? That's what it sounds like. Has to is the same, right? It's just you put both of them together, and when you're speaking without pausing, right? So the way that I speak, a lot of times, the way that I speak on these streams, sometimes I pause and I break the words down, right? And sometimes I make sure that I pronounce all the letters, right? So you guys can know exactly what I'm saying. And sometimes I speak normal, right? Or sometimes I speak fast, so you guys can see, right, how people also use it. More new people. So very nice. Lamier, nice to have you in the class. Pilar, hello Pilar, welcome to the class. I think I saw you last week, so thanks for coming back again. And that's pretty much it, right? So don't worry too much right now about the pronunciation, but if you want to practice it, you can. Now, coming to the next part, this is very important to understand this part, right? Because a lot of people focus too much on what is this exactly and not exactly, and if I say this, will it change the meaning completely or whatever. So all you have to remember about have to, have got to, and must, all of them express that it is necessary, right? So this is your key word. This is the word that's most important in today's explanation, right? All of them, it doesn't matter which one, must, have to, have got to, all of them share, or they have one thing in common. All of them express necessity, and necessity means that something needs to happen, right? If it doesn't happen, it's not good, right? Or it's not correct, or something like that. Karim says you don't need to apologize. You are the slowest speaking teacher in Smrt English in the Smrt English classroom. Slowest speaking teacher. Am I the slowest speaking teacher? Oh, you guys are. Oh, somebody said that I speak too fast. Yes, sometimes I do that on purpose. And sometimes I slow things down, right? So you can hear what I'm saying. But believe me, I don't speak as fast also as I normally do in real life. But all right, yeah, everybody looks good. Very good. So remember, all of them mean the same thing, right? All three of them means that something is necessary, right? So they all express necessity to do something or for something to happen. Now, the only real difference is that must, when you say must, people usually get the feeling that it's a little bit stronger, right? Or it's a little bit more important when you say must, right? But really, all of them mean that something needs to happen, right? That's still what you mean when you say have got to or have to, but it's just the way that people use it, right? So throughout most people, what's common between people's understanding is when you say must, it usually means that you're trying to show a stronger meaning, right? You're trying for the listener to get a feeling that, oh, this is a little bit more important. It's very important, right? So, for example, I have to go home. I have to go home. Or I've got to go home. I must go home. Now, when you say it with the must, it always sounds more necessary, right? More important, more urgent. Like it needs to happen right now. So, so that's it, right? So remember, yes, all three of them have the same meaning, exactly the same meaning, but must makes people think that it's more important, right? Or it's more urgent, if you want to think of it that way. All right. Yeah, yes, urgent, just like Judith was saying. All right, now, because must, like we just explained, has a stronger meaning, it is less common in spoken English when describing necessity, right? So English speakers usually prefer have to or have got to. Must is more common in writing, right? Because usually writing, you're trying to be extra expressive, right? Especially when you're trying to write a story or a novel, or something like that. Elias is asking, what's my next dish for food AF? What is the next dish? I forgot. I already filmed it. Actually, I already filmed the last 2 episodes. So the next dish was, what is it? Oh, the next dish is awesome. Actually, the next dish is fried fish. It's my favorite way to make a fried fish sandwich, and it's very, very good. And you guys must watch that episode when it when it comes out. No, but really, it's a very, very good sandwich. Nobody has ever not asked for 2 more after I made the sandwich for them. So you should watch it. And yeah, and I actually filmed the episode after that, which is going to be roast beef. All right, Karim is asking about if there are any websites that I can recommend for you guys to go and practice English on. Yes, so stick around and I'll tell you at the end, right? So I'll just write a note here and I'll tell you at the end of the class today, Karim. I'll give you a website that you can go and check out. It's pretty good. So just so I don't forget, and if I do forget, please remind me. But yeah, at the end of the class, I'll tell you. Okay. Now, what is extremely important for you guys not to forget, right, or what you must not forget, is this. There is no past form of must or have got to. It does not exist, right? So just don't try. It's not there. We do not have a past form for must or have got to, right? There isn't any. So don't. I've seen sometimes it's very interesting in class when you have students, you know, like students that the kind of students that are always thinking ahead. When you explain things to them, you know, their brain is always trying to think, oh, well, then how do I do this? And then that means this is that. So it's very interesting to see what they what they think is the past form of something before I explain that there isn't a past form. So yeah, it's always fun to see what they think is the past form. But yeah, so please remember, this is extremely, extremely important. There is no past form for must or have got to. So what do we do if I want to express necessity in the past? Well, then we use had to, and that's how we do it, right? So, for example, I must study. That's cool. That's okay. I have to study. That's also okay. I have got to study. That is also fine. In the past, you would say I had to study, right? So, oh, I missed the episode yesterday because I had to study, right? So that's how you express necessity in the past form. There is no past for must or have got to. Please, please, please don't forget that. That's very, very important. No, it's had to, Karam. Must have is you're talking about something else. That's not expressing necessity. The must have that you are talking about is a different thing, right? So that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about how to express necessity, right? How much does something need, right, to happen? I have to remember this lesson. That's a good example, Lemier. I hope that I'm saying your name correctly, but a lot of the names here, you know, I guess. And I hope for the best, but yeah. Yes, that's correct example, Jundi. But like I said, that's a different thing. That's not what we're talking about today. So I don't want to confuse people, right? So I'm not going to talk about it. That's a different must, right? That's a different kind of must. Okay, now we've been talking about necessity and how to express necessity. So just very, very, very quick recap. Remember, modal verbs are considered auxiliary verbs. That means they are helping verbs. They're not the main verb of your sentence. Their job is to help another verb. Modal verbs do not follow the normal rules with verbs, right? So we do not put S for he, she, and it. We do not say, for example, he, she, it. In normal verbs, we say he walks, he talks, he eats, he cooks. But for modal verbs, we don't do that. The S, we don't write it, right? So he can go to the store, for example. Questions, they start with the modal verb. That's an easy one. And remember this, modal verbs always get a normal verb after it, right? So normal verb means the base form, right? The normal verb without changing the verb. No, we don't add something to make it in the past. We don't add an S. We don't add to. We don't even use to, right? So just like this example here, he must go, right? There's no to. You cannot say he must to go. That's wrong, right? So the to goes away, and then you just put the normal verb. Not es, not ing, nothing else like that. The only exception, and please remember, exception means something that doesn't follow the rules, is ought to, right? So we always say to with ought to. And Craig, go check out Craig's YouTube channel. He's got some pretty cool songs. Other expressions to say the same thing: be able to, be allowed to, be going to, be supposed to, have got to, have to, had better. And somebody said manage to in the chat, which is also correct. So you guys are doing good. Hello, Yang Long. Thank you for coming to the class. Welcome. It's good to have you here. Remember, when we talked, the other thing that we talked about today, or that we wanted to focus on, is that must, have to, and have got to, those three things basically express the same thing. Remember, they share the same thing, which is necessity, right? The only difference is must usually is a little bit stronger, right? People feel that things are stronger, more important, or more urgent if you use must. One important other difference is when we say have got to, you have to put the subject after the has or the have, right? It depends on if you're saying he, she, it, or we, you, they, and so on. Like I said, right, must just means it's a little bit stronger. Very important rule, or one of the golden rules that we're going to talk about today, is this one. There is no past for must or have got to. You express past necessity by saying had to, right? I had to study yesterday. Karim is asking, my friend have been in the party last night. I would make it much simpler than that, Karam. I would say something like, my friend was at the party last night, and that's it, right? Yeah, my friend was at the party last night. Yes, Bisma is talking about something else that we have not talked about yet, but you are correct, Bisma. That is correct. Yes. Yes, Karam, you said my friend must have been in the party last night. That's correct, but that is a different, you're not expressing necessity here, right? You're using it in a different way. Shall is more British. Yes, I would say that is true. Shall is more British. Shall we have tea? All right, now let's talk about lack of necessity, right? So lack of necessity. To say that it isn't necessary to do something, we use don't have to, right? So do not have to or don't have to, or have not got to, right? Or haven't got to. To talk about the past, we use did not have to, right? So lack of necessity means what? We're just trying. Jundi is saying, "You shall not pass," which is an epic quote from the movie Lord of the Rings. See, I know my quotes very good, or very well, I should say. But yeah, that's an epic quote. I like that. So lack of necessity. All that we mean by that is I want to say that it's not necessary to do something, right? It's not important. It's not needed to do something, right? So this is what we mean by we want to express lack of necessity. So for example, the concert is free. You don't have to pay to enter, right? It is not important to pay to enter. You do not need to pay to enter. It is not necessary to pay to enter, right? So that's what we mean. You don't have to. I don't have school tomorrow. I don't have school tomorrow. I don't have to go to bed early tonight. I don't have to go to bed early tonight. I don't have school tomorrow, right? So yes, again, it is not necessary, right? It's not important. So somebody here is saying something. Noor is saying we have a choice. Yes, but in specific examples, right? So for example, in the first one, the concert is free. You do not have to pay. That's not a choice. You cannot say, oh, it's okay, I'll pay. Well, there's nobody to take your money, right? There's nobody to pay, and there's nothing that you will get. So in some of them, no, you don't have a choice. It just means it's not important. It's not necessary. It's not something that you have to do, right? Or yeah, just like Jundi is saying, you don't have to do it all along, or you didn't have to do it all along. All right, example number 3, we haven't got to hurry. We haven't got to hurry. There's still lots of time. Again, you don't need to hurry because, well, you have a lot of time, right? You can take your time. Last night, I didn't have to make dinner because my mother took me out to a nice restaurant. Last night, I didn't have to make dinner. There's no need, right, to make dinner because my mother took me out to a nice restaurant. Yeah. Anna's saying it's like the opposite of must. Pretty much, yes. Yeah, it's pretty much. That means, yeah, you don't have, it's not necessary, right? It's basically the opposite of must. And yes, must, we don't say to with must. That's a good catch, Anna. Very good. Jane didn't have to do any homework because she had finished everything during class, right? So Jane is a smarty pants. And she finished everything in class, so she didn't have to do any homework. So again, it's not necessary, right? It's not important. Now let's take a look at a very common way also that people use must, and hopefully let's make it clear. So prohibition, right? Or prohibition. So prohibition basically means when something is not allowed, right? You're not allowed to do something. So when something is prohibited, or when something is just not allowed, right? That's what it means. If something is prohibited, it is not allowed. So using must in the negative has a very different meaning. Using must in the negative has a very different meaning. It means that something is prohibited. It means it's not allowed, or it means that you can't do this, right? People will not let you do this, right? Or maybe the law will not let you do this. So you can't do it, you're not allowed to do it, or it's extremely, very, very, very bad, right? If you do this, right? You'll make people go insane. Or forbidden, yes, right? Like Rosa is saying, that's a good synonym for prohibition. So let's take a look at some examples and see what that actually means, right? So, for example, you mustn't eat in Mrs. James' class. You mustn't eat in Mrs. James' class. So here it's I'm not just telling you don't do it. I'm telling you you really should not do this, right? Because you're not allowed, and Mrs. James will probably react, right, or not be very, very happy with you, or she might do something about it. Dia, is it common to say mustn't or must not? Honestly, I would say both of them are pretty much the same. A lot of people usually use contractions, right? So mustn't. But sometimes you want to be very expressive. You must not do that, right? Or I'm going to. So it depends on really what you want to say, right? But both of them, I would say, are okay. But usually contractions are more common, right? Usually people use contractions more commonly. What is the question, Karam? Sorry, can you type it in again? Because I missed it. I'm sorry, I missed it. Type it in again, and I will try to check it out. Well, JB told me that we use must-have for possibilities in the past. We use must-have for possibilities in the past. For example, he must have. Yes, that is correct. You can use must-have for possibilities in the past. Bisma is saying you must not cross the border illegally. Yes, that's a good example. You mustn't drink alcohol with this medicine, right? Why? Because it's bad for you. It's not the law. Nobody is going to come and arrest you or take you to jail, but it's obviously very bad for you if you drink alcohol with medicine. That's usually these things don't mix. You mustn't start without me. You mustn't start without me. And don't start without her, because she looks angry, and I wouldn't start without her. Very scary. But yeah, so right. So you mustn't start without me just means don't start without me, right? Don't do it. You're not allowed. Okay, now notice the difference between must not and do not have to. So remember, we said must not, right, in the negative has a very different meaning. Now, hopefully to make it very clear, let's compare now, right? So notice the difference between must not and do not have to. You mustn't leave. Oh, you're welcome, Karam, no problem. You mustn't leave. You mustn't leave. That means you're not allowed to leave. You don't leave, right? You mustn't leave. Now, if I say the same sentence, but just change mustn't to don't have to, now it has a very different meaning. If I say you don't have to leave, well, like somebody was saying earlier in the chat, I think it was Bisma, I'm not sure who, but I'm sure I saw somebody talk about this in the chat earlier. If I say you don't have to leave, now it's a choice, right? So it means it's up to you. Do you want to leave? You can leave. Do you not want to leave? Don't leave. Do what you want, right? You don't have to leave, right? So very, very big difference in meaning, right? Between you mustn't leave and you don't have to leave, right? So please be careful. Don't think that when you say mustn't, you're making it a little bit stronger as an option, right? Or as choices, like it's up to you. I can leave or I can't if I want to. No, right? If you say you mustn't leave, it has a very different meaning. It means don't. You definitely should not leave. Something bad is going to happen if you leave, or it's not good if you leave. You don't have to leave. It's a choice, right? Oh, Noor, that was you. Sorry. Yes, Noor was talking about the choice or the option stuff earlier. So thank you for that. So I hope that you can clearly see the difference between these two examples. And having said that, let me check. Shada, we are done. Yeah, we did it, you guys. We managed to finish today's lesson, and I'm actually quite surprised. I did it in an hour and 4 minutes. I think that's a new personal best for me today, which is pretty good. I kept it within time. Well, 4 minutes over time, but within time for me. That's good enough. So that's it, you guys, for today. I hope that some of the things that we talked about here, obviously this is not all of the modal verbs, because there's still more. So next week we're going to be talking about advice and suggestions. So a lot more of should and ought to and all that sort of stuff. And after that, we are going to be talking about making requests. So a lot of you are asking about may, right? Well, there it is, right? So if you guys come to my class 2 weeks from now, you're going to see me talk about it, right? So I'm going to be talking about that in 2 weeks. So there you go. You guys already know what I'm going to be doing next week and the week after that. So next week, advice and suggestions, and the week after that, we're going to be doing making requests, and hopefully that will be most or all of the modal verbs, or at least for level 120, which is intermediate-ish, kind of, in Smrt. You don't. Oh, sorry, Rosa has a question. You don't have to leave can also mean you don't need to leave. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That was a very weird voice I did there. Did you hear that? So, yeah. I can't do it again, but that was that was weird. But yes, Rosa, that's basically it. Yes, it pretty much means the same, like JB said, right? So JB is taking care of all the extra questions in the chat. Thank you, JB, for that. I appreciate it a lot. Oh, thank you, Death Dia. I appreciate your comment. Thank you very much. All I hope from these lessons is that you guys actually feel that you are learning, right? Like you are actually understanding what I'm trying to express to you guys. As long as that happens, I am a happy man. Very good. All right, so we made it. I don't know, should I give you guys some exercises? Some of you are saying that it's actually been less than an hour. Has it been less than an hour? I think we started on like 3, right? Right on the dot. Are you guys not counting the part of you're not counting the introduction where I talk about Smrt and the YouTube channels and all that sort of stuff and the quote of the week? If you mean that, well, then I guess you are correct, right? Judith is asking, do we must or have to? Judith, be careful. If you're going to ask the question, right? So if you want to say must, you're going to say must. Must we do the exercises? But remember, must is not very common when you're asking questions. It's a bit too, right? Do we have to do the exercises? Yes, right? I would say do we have to do the exercises? All right, so all you guys are saying the introduction was a few minutes. Okay, fine. Let's do some exercises since you guys are so eager. I don't mind. It makes me happy that you guys want to do some work. That's good. So let's do that. All right, so let's do some exercises. I'll give you guys some exercises to do, and what are we going to do after that? Then we're going to come back, do the wrap up, give you guys movie quote of the week, and finish today's lesson. So let's do that. Of course, that is not a very good pronunciation, but you know me. If you guys have been watching this show for a while now, or this channel, I like to do voices and I like to do impressions. So yeah, sorry about that. Oops, not the answers. That's the wrong button. I don't want to show you guys the answers. I want to open the exercise. There it is. Okay, here we go. Jundi's asking, do you always live at the same time? Live at the same time? Oh, okay. You mean do I always stream live at the same time today? Yes, my normal times are every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Vancouver time, unless something happens. So I think I was sick before a couple of times, and usually when that happens, I try to make up the class on Friday, and when I do it on Friday, it's a little bit early at 12:30. But yes, my classes are every Wednesday at 3 Vancouver time. So every Wednesday at 3 Vancouver time, you can come and hang out with me. All right, let's take a look. This, oh, come on, this is easy. This is nothing for you guys. I'm not gonna give you this. Hold on. And this is also easy. And this is easy. Dun 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 dun. And let's see. No. Also, that's easy, man. All right, yeah, let's do this one. There we go. So complete the sentences in the positive or the negative using the correct forms of have to and have got to. If both ways are possible, then write both. Oh, you're welcome, Yan Long. I'm very happy that you said that my class was useful for you. Thank you very much. That makes me happy. Yeah, so let's do this, right? So I will, let's see, what should I do? Let's make a copy for you guys, so you guys can have a copy. What do I need? I need to make a copy, and then after I make the copy, I will click on share and go to advanced, change this to that, say yes, and then copy this. All right, so I'm going to give you guys the link in the chat, so you guys can download a copy of this. So please download it and open it, and let's get on with it. Which one did I want to do? Number 4. I think it was number 4. Yeah. All right, you guys are getting it. I can start seeing you people coming here, which is always a kind of good. That means the internets are working. Whoa, Death Dia is saying it's 6:12 a.m. You are a much better man or woman, I can't tell what you are from your name, than me. I would not wake up at 6 a.m. for anything, like anything. There is nothing that will make me wake up at 6 a.m. Unless I'm traveling, unless I'm flying somewhere. That's okay. But other than that, I will never wake up at 6 a.m. All right, so number 4, you guys, I'm going to give you a few minutes, and let's do C, D, E, and F, right? So C, D, E, and F. Just these 4 so that the chat doesn't go crazy, right? So I can see at least some of your answers. So C, D, E, and F. I'll give you guys a few minutes, and I will be back. Let's do the disappearing thing. A 1, a 2, a whoosh. Okay, you guys. Let's see what you guys did. Dum 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 dum. So C says. All right. So what do we have for C? C says, when I was a child, I blah 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 study very much at all. Now, before I tell you the answer, the hint for this is at all, right? So the word at all, right? At all. Usually when you say something at all, it's in the negative, right? So that's your hint. So remember that for the future, you guys, right? When you say at all, usually it's a negative sentence, right? So when I was a child, I didn't have to study very much at all, right? So at all means not just, so it's a way of expressing how much you did not do something, right? So at all, almost zero, right? When I was a child, I didn't have to study much at all. So most of you guys, I think, got that. Where's C? So C. So for example, somebody said, when I was a child, and you wrote a positive sentence, right? So when I was a child, I had to study very much at all. See, that's why it's not, you can't say I had to study. The problem is the second half of the sentence, because you said very much at all. This is your hint that it's a negative thing that you're saying, right? So I didn't study, or I didn't have to study very much at all. Maybe because, I don't know, maybe they were super smart, or their parents just didn't care, or whatever the reason. But that's the answer for that one, right? All right, next one is, what do we have? D. So D, what did you guys say for D? D. Why can't I see D? Okay, so it's, some of you mixed up some things here, right? So I see had to. Some of you said have to. So the correct answer is had to. I couldn't find my keys, so I had to use, right? So remember, this is in the past, and that's why we're saying I had to, right? So it's in the past. I couldn't, right? I couldn't find my keys, so what did I do? I used, right? I had to use the spare one to get into my house last night. That's the answer. So I couldn't and last night, right? These should be your hint words, right? That you're looking for in the sentence. Next one, E. She's nervous because she give a presentation in class tomorrow. She's nervous because she something in class tomorrow. So a lot of you, let's see what you guys did for, what is this again? E. This is E. Okay. A lot of you are getting it. Some of you are mixing it up a little bit. So she's nervous. So some of you said must, but remember the question said complete the sentences in the positive or the negative using the correct forms of have to or have got to. See, it's very important to read the questions and the instructions and what they're asking you to do, right? So this is a very common mistake in exams. A lot of people, they start answering without actually really reading what they should do. And even if your answer is correct, you don't get the mark because you didn't do what the question asked you to do, right? So be careful with that. I always tell that to my students. Please make sure that you are actually doing what the question wants, right? So she's nervous because she has to or has got to give a presentation in class tomorrow. Julian is back. Hey, whoa, oh man, Julian, you scared me there for a little bit. I thought you said my wife died. It's my wife, my Wi-Fi. Oh my God. So you scared me for half a second, Julian. For half a second, you scared me more than the Beatle joke that you've been trying to trick me with. That worked. Oh man, that was good. All right, so last one, F. Let's see what F says. So something, you have to start with something, and then it says, read anything by this author when you were in high school. Read anything by this author when you were in high school. And a lot of you are, what did you guys say? Have to. Have to read. Okay. Yes. Okay, somebody's getting it there. Yes, more people are writing it now. Yes. Some of you are getting it right, but a lot of you did not notice, and I don't know why. This is a question, right? And you can tell that by the question mark. So it's right there, right? The question mark is right there. So this is a question. So you should start. Did you have to, right? Did you have to read anything by whatever author, right, when you were in high school? You know, because it was part of your curriculum, right, or part of the things that you did in school. You can't really choose what you do in school, right? So did you have to read anything by this author when you were in high school? And that's the answer for that. So yeah, so just be careful, right? Don't make sure you read everything, right? You look at the entire sentence properly, right? So the question mark should have given you guys a hint that this is a question. Okay, so I think that is it, right? So that is it for this week. You guys have been fantastic as usual, and you guys are awesome. And because you guys are awesome, you all deserve a virtual high five. So good job, you guys. You guys did great today, which is good, as usual. Always good. All right, so let's end this. So remember, people, you can always watch me every Wednesday at 3 p.m. right here on Smart English. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell button so you can see when the new classes are going to come, right? So you guys can see already, Kent has a class this Friday, right? So the 17th at 3:30 p.m. Vancouver time. So don't forget, please go subscribe over there and hit the bell button. And after you do that, click on my face and then subscribe and also hit the bell button over here, right? So Smart English with Karim, you will get some extra videos that are not too long and you can watch them, I don't know, when you're sitting on the bus or something like that, right? So very, very short videos that you guys can see at any time. And they're a bit more organic, right? Because it's not like a class and I'm sitting here and doing this stuff, right? So it's a bit more natural, more organic. The Vancouver Out and About and Phrases with Karim. Also on YouTube, don't forget my food channel. If you guys like to eat, if you guys like food, like most human beings, please go check out my Food AF channel. Very, very important also to subscribe to me over there and hit the bell button because I'm such a tiny channel right now. Not a lot of people watch or know about it, right? So when you guys subscribe and when you hit like and when you comment on the videos, this tells YouTube that, hey, people are kind of interested in this channel. Then YouTube decides to show my channel to more people, right? And then we get to grow as a community. So please go and subscribe to me over there and hit the bell button, you guys. I try to make a video every week, and knock on wood, I have not missed a week yet, and hopefully I will not, right? So please go subscribe to me over there. It's a lot of fun. I have fun cooking, and I would love if you guys join me. On Facebook, don't forget to hit up the I'm Karim Smrt Live on everything, right? So you can find me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and I think that's pretty much it, right? And YouTube, right? So Karim Smrt Live, the same name everywhere. Facebook, I also have Food AF. You can join the group for Food AF on Facebook. And if you like, and I highly suggest that you guys, you should also go join the Smrt Facebook group. So it's a very good group, actually. It's a nice group. It's pretty big. We have about 24,000 people, and like I said before, it's called Learn English on Facebook with Smrt, right? So post your questions over there. The community is very nice. People always help each other out when we talk, and it's always cool. So I hope to see you guys over there. And the only thing that is left to do is the movie quote of the week, which we're going to be doing, now. So Julian, is Josh still teaching? I don't know. I don't think so, Julian. I think the only people that are teaching right now are Sean, Kent, and myself. I think it's us, the three musketeers. So we're the only guys that are, I think, currently teaching Smrt classes. But we're looking for new teachers. So I actually recommended a teacher to Julian last week, which he's a pretty cool guy. But I don't know what happened after that. So I don't know if he called Smrt or if he talked to them or not. But yeah, at the moment it's us three, and we are always looking for new and awesome teachers to come and join the Smrt family. So we are planning to grow, right? We want to grow, so hopefully we will. All right, let's see. What are you guys saying? You guys have a lot of questions in the chat. Julian is saying, sub to Karim for good luck. Well, I can't promise you that, but I support the idea. Yes, sub to me, and there's a very good chance you will get good luck. Death D is asking, why is it 3 p.m.? Because that is the only time, unfortunately, that I am free, Death D. I'm so sorry. But I have 3 jobs at the moment, right? So I teach ESL in the morning, I teach college courses in the afternoon, and I have to do this stream. Right? I have to do the stream every week. So Wednesday at this slot, this is sort of the only time that I'm available to do this. And this is not counting Food AF, right? So Food AF, I don't get paid for that, right? And that takes a lot of time. You have no idea how much time that 10-minute video or 15-minute video, right, takes. It takes days, right, and hours to film and prepare. So I'm sorry, this is the only time that I'm actually available. But that's why, besides the live stream, we make sure to keep the videos on YouTube, right? So you guys can always watch the video whenever you want. I love it when you guys come to the class live. It's awesome being able to chat, and have a back and forth with you guys. And I really appreciate that. You have no idea how much I appreciate it, that you guys actually choose to spend your time with me, right? I cannot thank you guys enough for that. But I completely understand if it's for in a time that is just really not working for you, right? I know we live on a globe, right? It must be a bad time for somebody somewhere, and I apologize for that, right? But that's really the only time that I can do the class at the moment, right? At least at the moment, this is the only time that I'm free to do the stream. And I really want to do it. Like, I really like doing the stream, to be honest with you. So that's why I make sure that at least I found a space. So yeah, so that's it. So movie quote of the week for this week is, let's see. What's happening? It does this every week. I don't know why it signs me out. And okay, don't go. Why can't I do it? I don't understand. Every week this does this to me. Karim, okay, see, that's why. It always changes who I am. I am this guy right now. I'm not the other guy. And okay, there we go. Now I should have power and control. Delete. Oh, you guys are welcome. You guys are super, super welcome. No need to say thank you to me, right? So I always say thank you to you because you guys actually come and hang out with me, which is amazing to me, right? So thank you for that. Thank you for coming out and spending some time. All right, so this is the movie quote of the week, and this is from an extremely funny movie, or at least in my opinion, it's a funny movie, and this is one of my favorite lines from probably my favorite guy in the movie. Right, so the movie has a lot of really cool people in it, and this guy is my favorite dude in the movie. So before I do this, please, oh, what happened? I got subscribers. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. That is awesome. Yay, we got 3 new subscribers today. Oh, we're getting more subscribers. You guys, you guys are fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for showing me the love, you guys. All right, so here we go. Remember, before I do the movie quote of the week, please do not tell me in the chat right now what the movie is. Please don't tell me in the chat what the movie is right now, because I'm going to pretend like I did not see it. And also, after I close the stream, the chat box goes away and I can never, ever see it again. So if you want to tell me the movie, please make sure that you comment under the video in the comment section below. And that makes it easier for me also so that I can see who was first, right? Because it's right there and I can clearly see in the timestamp who actually answered the channel. Karim, did you see my comment on your food channel? I don't know. Did you like make a comment right now? If you made it right now, then no, I probably did not see it yet. But I don't know. I haven't checked the food channel for a couple of days because I had a lot of work to do. But yeah, I always. Oh yes. Well, no, of course not. I couldn't see it right now because I'm talking to you guys. But I definitely will today. All right, so here we go. So remember, if you know what the movie is, or if you find out what the movie is, comment in the comment section below so that we can see who wins. Julian, you're in the chat today, so you have a good chance. And I don't know, where's Patricia? I haven't seen Patricia today, so I think Julian might snatch this from Patricia. Or unless any of you other guys start getting into the competition with Julian and try to beat him. So here we go. No cheating. Wait until I do the quote, and then you can answer. All right. So this is a scene where 2 guys are talking, and one of them is pretending to be a character, and the other person is asking him, why are you still pretending? So this is his answer, and this is the voice. Man. All right. Man, I don't drop character till I've done the DVD commentary. So that's it. So I'll do it one more time and I'll finish this for today. All right, so here we go. Man, I don't drop character till I've done the DVD commentary. And that is it. So that has been the movie quote for the week. And I think that I can go whoosh, big screen now. Very nice. You guys are welcome. You guys are super welcome. Everybody is very welcome. It has been my pleasure to be here today. So somebody, oh, that's great. Somebody's saying the lesson was really informative. That is great. I love it when lessons are informative. Oh, Judith is using vocabulary from last week, and she is saying, thanks, Karim. Your class was awesome sauce. Woo! That is a good way to use awesome sauce, Judith. Very good. So that's from vocabulary that we did last week. If you guys missed it, you can go check it out. We talked about a few things, and awesome sauce was not part of the vocabulary, but I just gave it to you guys. All right, so that's been it. So thank you so much again for spending this hour and a half with me this Wednesday. I will see you guys next Wednesday at 3 p.m. if nothing dramatic or drastic happens in my life. And yeah, so until I see you guys next time, thank you very much. a good morning, a good evening, and a good night. And I am out!